Welcome to the Taalib-Din show. Today's topic is the power of words. You become what you speak and hear. Today we have a special guest, Sabir Bey. He has been in the radio industry for 6 years, 8 years in the media, 11 years studying the Moorish science. He is a holistic health specialist, personal trainer, guest speaker, gives lectures in schools, has his own talk show, has his own radio show, Civil Alert. The man is just loaded with information and loaded with giving to the community and servicing the community, and also establishing and building a community and changing the conditions of the people. So with that said, I want to welcome you onto the show, Brother Sabir Bey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And how are you?
That's a lot of stuff. I didn't even remember. Half of that stuff is on there.
I know,
Wow.
I know. We've been doing some research on you.
Wow.
Just a little bit, just a little
You
bit.
in the hip-hop police too, huh?
I'm telling you, you're most wanted. You're most wanted. and we got you here, so we're doing something right. So how are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Blessed to be here, and most definitely grateful to have you on the show.
I'm glad to
thank
be
you
here.
for being on.
So I'm glad to be here.
Good. So tell us about Civil Alert. What is Civil Alert, and how did that
Wow.
get started?
Wow. This started, maybe 8 years ago. I've started Civil Alert because it was it was like, I would watch the media and see certain things that wasn't really being put out, and the way they would put it out, it was like negatively as far as our people or information period. So I just started, I came up under the Morris Order Round Table with Brother Taj Tariq Bey, Abdullah Bey, brother named Kamar, and we just wanted to come out and start teaching civics to people. I saw a lot of stuff that was happening, and I was like, wait a minute, there's another way that we can get this out, besides religion.
So what are some of the topics that you've discussed on your radio show?
Wow. You want me to go, how far you want to go back?
Just want to briefly
I mean, we
touch on
talk about health, we talk about entertainment, we have comedy. I done had guys like James Ingram, Tommy Davidson on the show, Karis One on my show, Dr. Sabi on my show.
Okay.
I mean, we had a lot of people on it. We had Taj Tariq Bey on the show. He actually was a guest with me.
Okay.
On my program on the radio show.
So how do you get access to these influential people?
Be there.
Be there.
One thing James Ingram told me, he said, try to be it everywhere. Even if you have to pay your way to get there. He said, make yourself known and be seen.
All right. And why do you feel the topics that you speak on for your show, why is this such a need for our community and our people?
Because mainstream television and radio is not putting it out there the way it should be.
And why do you think that is so?
I mean, it's controlled. I mean, you got to understand, it's controlled. It's purposely done that way, so it won't be out. They have to, because one thing people got to understand, that media controls the public's opinion. Right. They can make you love who you hate and hate who you love. This is what they do. So if I'm trying to convince somebody on something, what I'll do, I'll go where? To the press, to the newspaper, to the TV, and I would actually constantly keep pushing this. I was just in New York, and I'm watching y'all news here, and they kept playing the same thing over and over and over. Like every 15 minutes, I was seeing the same commercial, and I caught it. And I said, I could probably tell you everything that she's saying. I was repeating. Barack was here. The police officer got shot. A play. In rotation. Right. So if you keep doing that in rotation, what happens? That sucks in a person's subconscious mind. Right. And this is what they do with television and radio.
And why do you feel like people are just so stuck onto the garbage that's being put out there? And why do you feel that the majority of people are not going towards conscious music or conscious news?
Well, we just had this discussion before we came in here. I said that if a boxer get knocked out, do a boxer know that he's knocked out?
Right.
No. The only people know that he's knocked out is the people that's outside the ring and also his corner. So if you have a people that is unconscious, do they know that they're unconscious? So the conscious people have to come to the people that is not conscious. So they don't know that they're unconscious. So what it is that we have to have stuff like this in our own media to actually bring this to our people. I mean, no, it's a job. We didn't get it in overnight, and we ain't gonna get out of it overnight.
So how have the market, the people have been receiving your work that you've been doing?
Wow, I mean, you have to be multitasking. You have to deal with, entertainment, because our people love to be entertained. And that's one thing I love about what Karis One does. He says make stuff edutaining.
Okay.
Education and entertaining to draw the people in. It's like church. And churches say, well, we have free food. People coming to the church. You had to trick them.
Right.
Basically.
Right. Okay. And I know you've done some projects at schools, and I know it's very important to get into the youth.
Yes. Very important.
So, what was your reason behind going into the school, and what are some things that you've worked on as far as workshops at the schools you've been in?
Wow.
And where have you been?
I mean, I know, as far as what, the school?
Yes.
Business Tech High School in Philadelphia. Big up the Business Tech.
Okay.
There was a Spanish sister I met in a restaurant one day, and we just happened to get into the conversation because our everyday conversation is based on nationality and law. That's it. Okay. So the topic came up about the Moors, and I was talking to her, and she said, I don't think my students know who the Moors are. They might have heard about it, but they never, they don't really know.
Right.
So she invited me to come to the school, and it's been like, this would be the 5th time coming up in June. So she was like, well, come on in the school, and I want you to talk to my students. So went in, I met the president, the principal of the school.
Okay.
Working with my man Asaru from the Boondocks, that does the soundtrack to the Boondocks. He has books out called Help, Hip Hop Education Literacy Program. I presented that information to him first. Then I started saying, look, let's talk to the students instead of at the students. So it's a way on how you do it. So I use hip hop to get in there to actually come in and build on nationality. So when I got in there, we started showing slide presentations on the Moors, little clips of films on the Moors, and they was asking me to come back more and more.
So can you please explain, like, who the Moors are?
The Moors, that's anybody, anyone. This is anybody who call themselves Negro, Black, African American, or colored. It's not a religion. It's your nationality. All these people that's running around out here right now, they call themselves Black. They're Moors. That's it.
So briefly, like, so if someone considers themselves to be African American or Latino, that's all they've known. So how would they be able to, like, transition from what they've once known to who they really are, if they even believe that that's who they are more? Because this is new information for probably the majority of the people out here. So how do you kind of, like, smoothly transition them from one state to the next?
It's not new. This stuff is old. It's been around since 1913. It's been around before that. There was actually...
But most people, like, don't know.
Because of the school system.
Okay.
Again, if I'm training you, this is the way you're going to react. This is how you're going to be, So, like John Henry Clark said, a man don't treat you right, ain't going to teach you right. So it's not up to them. And we keep looking towards the one that supposedly, had you enslaved, and now you want to sit back and say, wait a minute, could you teach us our history? It's not going to go down that way.
Okay.
So you have to go to the enlightened people. Like I said, if you're unconscious, you go to somebody that is conscious. But we believe that we're conscious, and we're not. So if anybody who studies, Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think, you can free yourself.
Right.
If the people would think and read and research themselves. I mean, there's a lot. I'm not just talking about on the internet.
Right.
Because people can put what they want to put on the internet. Start digging into some books, and every time you see this word Indian, look up what the word Indian means. Or movies that's been out. There's one good movie, Black Knight with Martin Lawrence. They called him a Moor through the whole movie.
Yes.
They called Will Smith a blackamoor in Wild Wild West, if you watch that.
Okay.
If you watch Robin Hood, they called Morgan Freeman the Moor. He said it's Moorish.
Yeah, you hear that going around.
Yeah, so now, is they talking about a religion, or they talking about the people?
Okay.
So no matter if you say I'm an Israelite, you're still a Moor. If you're Haitian, you're still a Moor. Jamaican, you're still a Moor. They're the Maroons when you start studying the history.
Okay.
So again, if these people are teaching you, you're not going to get the right information.
So you said, like, this information has been out since 1913, you said?
I mean, I would say before 1913, but Noble Drew Ali is the one who brought it back to our people.
Okay.
He brought the nationality back to our people and reclaimed our flag that was flown over here over 10,000 years old.
All right. So how did the students receive the information that you were giving them?
They loved it. I mean, see what I do with them. In any presentation I may do, I tell people, I give them the keys and I tell them to go home and research. And one thing I love about what the students do is the students go home and do their research. And now their moms are asking, could you tell Sabir to call me? I want to talk with him. But what happens, you're getting them to teach their parents now.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So now the students are teaching the parents. So it's good. They received it very well.
And I think that's how it's going to go with how things are working today. Like, the children are going to be more of the educators than the parents.
Yes.
Because most of the parents are either stuck in their ways, or they're just not really hip to all this newfound information that's already been out here. Tell
we're
us.
in the information age right now.
Yes.
So no matter what you're trying to do, you can't stop it. And they know this. So you can't stop it.
Okay. I'm just going to switch gears a little bit, and I want you to talk a little bit about the Stop the Violence movement. What is this about, and who's involved, and how did you get involved, and what's the main goal for this?
Wow. I was with brother Hakeem Green from Channel Live. He introduced me to KRS-One, and from that point on, we just ran with it. KRS-One started the Stop the Violence movement. I believe it was 1989, 88, 89. He pity-packed off of what Africa Bambaataa was, doing, and he ran with that. And from 1989 with, self-destruction, when he started with that.
Right.
Headed for self-destruction. Everybody know that. We in South, where we at? South Bronx.
Right. That's one song I do know. And I was there.
You were there?
You put me onto that one, yeah.
Yeah. But he started with that, and from that point on, I met Chris probably about 3 years ago. When we first met each other, it was like crazy. Like we knew each other for the longest, and we just started building. Made me part of the Tempo Hip Hop. Made me part of the head of the one of the recruitings for the Stop the Violence movement. To go out and recruit. So from that point on, it's like it's history, man. It's cool though.
So what do you do when you recruit? Do you go to organizations that are aligned with the same mission, or do you go out like with a street team and go to high schools? How do you recruit?
High schools, like as I said, we went to the high school. I just was there playing the self-construction, because now they have a song called Self-Construction. Most people don't know that. So I play it on my radio. So they had self-destruction. So now he's saying build. So you destroy. So now it's time to build. And he took on guys with like Nelly, Game, Chamillionaire. I mean, Neil's doing the hook on the soundtrack. I mean, it's hot.
This is
so
going to be the new thing coming.
Go check it out. It's already out. You better go check it out, people.
All right,
it's hot. It's hot though. But he's doing a lot of big things. So he's on the Stop the Violence tour right now. He actually be in Philadelphia in June the 13th.
All right.
I
know I have one of my friends, Sarita Gates, out of Queens. She had this event this past Saturday, Bury the Beef. Stop the Violence. She's a young entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. She's like 20 years old, and she's really heavy on this stuff. So love to Sarita Gates and Sweets.
Yeah.
So with that said, how are you like developing through all of the work that you're doing? How do you find time for like your personal development? What do you do?
You don't have no
personal development.
You don't have no personal time in this. It's like I'm leaving straight from here to go to Virginia, so you really don't have no personal time. For real. I mean, I'm trying. So we're working on a TV show in Philly. So we're gonna do like 5 to 6 tapings, and I'm done. It's like, and try to get some type of personal time.
Okay, now what I mean by I'm one who's heavy on like reading books and meditating and stuff like that. So you don't do time to just like kind of get it all centered.
I'm working.
You're working. That's your personal development.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to do that. It's like I have books. I just bought the book, The Alchemist, and I ain't even finished the book. And one of the students at the school told me he's almost done, and I ain't even halfway through the book yet. I'm telling him to get the book, and I'm not even done the book.
So we'll come back to that probably like a couple of months from down the line. So you mentioned some projects that you're working on. You're doing a 6-series show.
Yeah, we're doing a Sabir-based show similar to what you're doing. Which is we're gonna have comics on there. We're gonna have poets on there. We're gonna have hip hop artists on. We have a lot of people lined up on there already. So it's gonna be good. We have you on it too. Come to Philly.
Oh, cool. I'll be there. I'll be in Philadelphia. I won't.
Right.
I think I'll do good.
So we're working on I have the 2 radio shows. I do a hip hop after midnight show, and I also do a talk, 2-way talk radio, on a Saturday. So it's like a lot of projects, and I'm working on some stuff with Tommy Davidson right now. So he wants to do an epic on the Moors, which is going to be crazy.
All right.
It's going to be real crazy.
So you are all in the process of getting that done right now.
Yeah, he said it's going to take about a couple of years. So it's going to be hot.
All right. And what is your role in this?
He just want me to be the executive director. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, well, congratulations.
I'm the one that's going to grab the people and information and say, yo, okay, boom, boom, boom. This is what this person did. This is what this person did. And before we go any further, my regards to Ivan Van Sertima, because he just passed away. Those that don't know, he wrote many books on the Moors.
Okay.
He wrote They Came Before Columbus, the Moors in Spain. No, he did They Came Before Columbus. What was the other one? It was The Golden Age of the Moors. That's what it was. The Golden Age of the Moors. Right here in Rutgers.
Okay. And why do you feel? And why do you feel that it's important for our people to know exactly like our nationality and where we come from and just where we stand in just this world itself?
Well, when anybody come into this land, they got to proclaim their name and nationality. That's mandatory. So what is the name and nationality of the people who call themselves black? That's not a nationality.
Okay.
No African Americans. That's 3 continents, North, South, and Central. So it's a nationality.
Okay.
You don't hear nobody running around calling themselves the whole continent. Nor do they call themselves inanimate objects. So it's mandatory for everybody who comes here. If a Chinese person come here, they must proclaim their name and nationality, or they can give their nationality up to be subject to somebody else. We the only ones that does not have that.
Right. This information about the Moors is still new to me. I'm still, you know, maybe like a month in the door with this here. But one thing that just kind of, that still blows me away is like, how do we become so far removed, or how do we become tricked into this whole process? Like, what happened that led us to this point as far as the beginning?
You know what? I was listening to, I was looking at Minister Farrakhan one day, and he said we can learn a lot from the Mexicans. He said they have culture and they have family. We have neither one of those things because you don't have knowledge of self. You don't know who you are. Somebody else is labeling you. And really the Christian nations have actually pulled you into their family. We have their name. We carry their religion. We dress like them. We eat like them. We have sex like them. You know, think about it. All the stuff that we're doing is BC-like.
Right.
You know, and these are the things that some people don't want to touch on.
Right.
We had morals. We had principles. You know, if you walk to the average, you know, we say black person and say, what principles and morals do you stand on? What are they going to tell you? But if you go to a Moor, I don't care where you at. You can be in Connecticut or Arizona, and I say, well, brother, what principles do you stand on? Every nation deals with principles and morals. If I go to my brother and say, brother, what principle do you stand on? They're going to say love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That's the 5 principles. You talk to an Italian, they're going to give you their principles. We're not going to kill the whole family if we're looking for Joey. You know, prime example, go watch Scarface when he shot the guy in the car when Al Pacino was sitting in the car and he wanted to blow the whole car up, but everybody was in. He said, no, we ain't killing them, we're killing him.
Right.
Goodfellas, go home to your family. Our families are done, and it's purposely done that way.
Right.
We bought into this westernized Christian way of living, you know. So it's a fight for us to actually trying to wake our people up. It is
a huge fight. And I really I feel like a lot of people, maybe because I'm new to the circle, but I really feel like a lot of people are awakening, and there's a change is really developing.
Alchemist.
Yep. So there's hope, for real.
It's going to. I told you, we're in the information age. So no matter what you do, you can't. What they say, you can't hide nothing in a bushel basket. I mean, just like you trying to cover up the grass with cement, and the cement is constantly, the grass is constantly pulling through the cement.
Right.
That's the truth. You can't hide it.
Right.
But some people trying to keep smothering and trying to keep it that way.
But it's not going to work for so long because too many people are awakening.
Like I said, we're in the information age. It's not going to happen.
Okay. Just moving forward with this Sabir Bey show. I know you have like numerous DVDs out, and I want to just touch a little bit on critical thinking. I did have opportunity to view that briefly. Can you just give us a little information about the critical thinking?
Wow. That was funny because it was a spare the moment thing, brother. Big up to Taj Tariq Bey, because Taj is, you know, he moves a lot. He's like one of my teachers, and it was just like, yo, Taj, what you doing? He said nothing. I said, okay, let's go to Delaware. Let's make this, you know, let's do this DVD. And it actually was on a Christmas day, where everybody else is celebrating. We was doing this DVD. You know, we were working.
Gotta
you know,
work, right.
And it was actually in 2007 we did that DVD, and we just sat down at the house, man. We said, okay, let's just go at it, man. He pulled out the books. I pulled out the books. We started get people to start thinking critically.
Right.
Because when you're in certain schools, even in law school, they teach you how to think critically, analytically, scrutinize, synthesize everything, loosen the words up, put them back together, and that's what Taj and I were doing. It was for you to start thinking.
Right.
And the problem that we have, we're not thinking at all.
Right.
And everybody else think for us.
Right. When I was watching it, when you were like, look up this word and what does that mean, I found myself like, when I was reading the book, looking up the word and figuring out what that word means. So it actually did influence me. I know Dr. Phil Valentine, he was mentioned also like thinking critically also, and what he was like, what does meditation mean? Not just saying it means to quiet yourself, but what does quiet yourself mean? Just going behind each word that you put out there just to get to the core of what it is that you're actually trying to define. And why, a simple question, but why do you think that? I think that's one of the reasons why people are far behind, because we haven't been thinking critically. We've just been on like autoplay and just in like
autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah, and just moving through life. So how was your process of thinking critically? Like when you come across information, what is your process of scrutinizing it, researching? What do you go through in order to get to the core of it?
Well, there was a brother, before I got into this science, a brother named Kamar Gabriel. He used to always tell me to, I was like that when I was younger. I would question everything, but we don't question anything no more.
Right.
Kamar said to me, Sabir, every time you see this word Indian, and it started with the word Indian, he said to look up the word Indian and the indigo and what it really means.
Okay.
So that's what made me start researching a lot of these things.
All right. All right, let me get focused. I'm like, who didn't put that phone on silent? Anyway, let's stay focused on what this is. Okay. All right. So the work that you're doing, what was the turning point? I know you mentioned earlier that you said that there was a need for the work that you've done to be put out here, but what was that particular event that said, you know what, I'm tired of sitting back. It's time that I step up and get it in. What was that event that took place for you?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, I came out of the Nation of Islam. I used to be in the Nation when I was younger, and then that's when I came across the Peace with the Moors. I went through the whole stages that everybody else went through: Sunni Islam, went through Judaism, went through the whole, went through the whole schools of thought, and ran across the Moors piece, and I was like, yo, it's something that they're hiding. When you get to this point and they're trying to shun this thing, shun it, like cut it, you're doing something right. And I'm like, I need to pursue that even more. And I used to just, from sun up to sundown, I used to stay in the law libraries, stay in libraries, period.
Okay.
Drop my son off 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the library till 3,
all right. Okay.
Researching.
So what are some things that people who are coming across this information for the first time, what is some advice that you would give them? And what is like when you came across, for example, when I started like going into this information, at first it was scary, the emotion of, oh my gosh, what's really going on here?
It's a story like that. A story.
Really?
About a garden.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Can I tell you a story real quick?
Briefly, yes.
Okay, real quick. There was a garden, and most people say, well, what was the garden? The garden, what was on the opposite side of the garden? And what happened, you had three people that was going to the garden. The first person went to the garden, they stopped and turned around. The second person went halfway through the garden, got scared, like you said, and he turned around.
Right.
The third person went all the way through the garden.
Right.
What was on the other side of the garden? It was the truth and the light.
And freedom.
And the problem, what it is, that the truth is coming at you, and it's like, it's a responsibility. When you get this knowledge, there's a responsibility. This is why people deal with belief systems.
Right.
Belief means that you don't know and you depended on somebody else. The words is right there, belie is right in between there.
Right.
So now you're relying on somebody else. You're not sure, so when you're dealing with the truth, which is facts, there's responsibility that comes along with that.
Absolutely.
And some people don't want that, and that is the light that Christos or Christians are dealing with, and that's not true light. The Quran and Bible speaks about the light. In Al-Nur, it means light, which is the truth.
Right.
Christ, light, which is dealing with the light, which is the truth. Not what they're putting out here to people.
Right.
So what happens, there's a responsibility that come along with that. I can't cheat on my wife no more. I can't go do this no more.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because there's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
And your guilt will eat you up. And there's a parts in the Bible that says that people does things in the dark because it's hidden.
Okay.
They can do all their filth in the dark, and they don't want to deal with the light.
All right. Well, to conclude that part, I am moving through. Nervous and all, I still go through it. Just to wrap up, you come across a lot of information, and you are knowledgeable. How do you maintain being humble through all the information that you come across?
Wow. Go home.
Elaborate.
I go home, back to Philly with family, like,
Okay.
with different people, and I just, I mingle with the common folks, you know,
No,
because I am
you do that. You do that.
You know.
It's important. I ask that question because some people do come across information, and I know you probably witnessed this. They do act, you know, high and mighty, but you are very humble.
Yeah.
And the work that help that you're doing for me and my brother, sometimes it blows me like, why is he helping? He doesn't even have to help on the status that you're on. So I just wanted to like throw that out there because I want people to know who may not know that you really are humble and you help a lot. So we do appreciate that.
Can I interject real quick? Karis once said at one of our meetings, he said, the way you would stop violence, he said, is through opportunity and knowledge. This is how you would stop violence.
Okay.
You give the people the opportunity. You know, you don't walk away from the people, you walk with the people.
Right.
And I understand sometimes some people say, well, that's kind of, you know, rough because you never know who you're around.
Right.
But you can feel a person's energy and see if it's right or feeling if it's right or wrong.
Okay.
You know.
Well, thank you. That's
you.
our time. Greatly appreciate having you on. We're going to bring you back for the second half with the artist. And here you have it. This is the power of words. He's actually speaking his life into existence and not talking about it, actually being about it. And this is like the greatest example you can show when you're using your words to inspire and influence and change the conditions of the people. So I would like to thank everyone for viewing the Tahira Show, and we'll see you back in a few.
Yeah.
My sister so fly, so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, it's like seeing her so fly. It's not like competition, cause there's only one of you, when there's only one of I. Watch me shine. I come into the room like a diamond, but I can't take credit for it, cause I am the poem, but God is the poet. I flow it, sew it, put it together, but God is the source and he holds it together. Whenever night or day is fine, cause beauty is a right of mine. Sublime be just how my soul shine. I reflect it all the time. My sister so fly, so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly, so fly. My sister so fly, so fly. So my sister so fly, it's like seeing her so fly. There ain't no competition, so you shouldn't even try. It's futile to resist her style. Eclectic spiritual profile, reflecting beauty in her style and speaking real talk all the while. I see her rising and ain't compromising, showing her butt, her breasts, her thighs. God's light is inside her eyes. If you wanna stop her shine, well, first you gon' have to stop mine.